What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So it's just the two of us this week. So last week I was away with the family. This week they're away with their family. So no Chris or no Daniel this week, but back to the regular duo, so to speak. So definitely continue to check out all of our episodes. Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask CISSP. I do have one to put up this week, and then Fridays everything else, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. But without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article comes from thehackernews.com, and it's written by Ravi Lakshmanan. And the title of this one is U.S. and Microsoft sees 107 Russian domains in cyber fraud crackdown. So we've seen this before, right? So we have the United States Department of Justice, right? They out here working with these big companies trying to bring down all these nefarious actors that are out there, right? So the gist of this one is Microsoft and the U.S. DOJ. They announced a seizure of 107 internet domains used by state-sponsored threat actors with ties to Russia, right? So these folks were using computer fraud and abuse in the country, right? So around the country, to carry out different things they wanted to do, right? So they've been stealing sensitive information. They're using it by phishing people and whatnot, right? So like this is a little bit of foreshadowing for the discussion we're going to have later on this week as well, right? About what the weak points may be when it comes to strengthening security posture, when it comes to people being online, but. This is exactly what it sounds like. The Russian government, they've done this before. This is kind of their go-to, right? Because people are kind of the weakest link. That's pretty much what it comes down to, right? Now, what I will say is these threat actors have some of the coolest names, man. It's weird, right? So like this threat actor they call Cold Driver. I'm like, man, that's kind of wild right there, man. But they always come up with these cool names for these folks. But eventually you're gonna get caught, right? Crime only pays for a little while, and then you get caught, right? So, but this group that they're going after. They suspect they've been active since 2012, right? So this is a group that's operational. It's an operational unit within the Center 18 of the Russian Federal Security Service, right? So the FSB. We brought the FSB up on this podcast numerous times, right? Because that's kind of when it comes to cyber crimes, that's kind of where Russia does a lot of this. Kind of the heart of their cyber crime. I don't want to know if you call it a division. I don't know what you would label it as, right?
Right, department.
Department maybe. Like I don't know how to classify that, right? But yeah. So this is something they've done before. They talk about it in an article back in December 2023. The UK and US governments sanctioned 2 members of this group, right? I'm not even going to try to pronounce their names. I'm like, I usually give it a solid effort, but I'm not even going to try to mess it up. But they were doing malicious credential harvesting activities, right? And doing spear phishing. So again, the people are the weakest link here, right? When we talk on this show, we talk about, different malware that's out there and the different ransomware that's being sent out to these different people. Almost, I'm going to say more than half the time, it's directed at getting access to a person, right? They're not on here doing like you see in the movies where you see, hey, we need to hack into the Pentagon, and they're just typing on a keyboard and they're like, yeah, we're in, like that's not what it is most of the time. It is usually some type of spear phishing or maybe they have they already have a cache of different usernames and passwords and things like that, or they know they have like some type of government, what do you call it? A cache, I guess you would say, again, of passwords, of personnel that work for the government and have passwords, and then they end up just using the same ones like over and over and over again, which you're not supposed to do, right? You're supposed to be unique to every different account you manage. And I realize that's hard in this day and age, but that's kind of how you counteract some of these things that are going on. But so Microsoft and the DOJ teaming up, right? That's 2 powerhouses right there, right? We know Microsoft has the ability to go out there and hunt people down like they need to, right? But yeah, this is going to be an ongoing thing, right? Because when it comes to, we've talked about it before, when it comes to what's going to happen in the future, when it comes to different types of, I don't want to necessarily say warfare, but this is how it's going to happen, right? It's just like before Russia went into Ukraine, what did they do? It was a cyber war, right? Like they went in, started DDoSing making it difficult for people to function in the world as we know it today, right? Like technology is how we get by doing all of these things. We're on the internet, right? Everything that touches the internet can be gotten, right? Can be gotten, right? So unless you're not touching it at all, it's like abstinence, right? It's the only way you don't get pregnant, right? But there was this one time, some 2000 some odd years ago, right, where that wasn't the case. But Ryan, what's your thoughts on this, man?
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head. Before I get started, so definitely check out all of our episodes. Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask the CISSP, and then Fridays everything else. Hit up all the websites that go by our name, the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, or give me up personally. I'll give all that stuff at the end. And if you want to be a marketer or you want to be a sponsor of the show, hit me up. So that's R. Williams at RampCyber. We could discuss it. But no, I think you hit the nail right on the head. It's people. It's the attacks aren't getting more sophisticated. It's that people are just being more vulnerable, I guess, so to speak, because there's more ways to access them, right? There's email, there's smishing attacks, right? So SMS attacks, things of that nature. So people are just clicking links they should not be clicking, or being tricked by social networking tactics, right? Like you think it's your bank, you think it's your IT department, and you're passing this information to people of nefarious uh, that want to do nefarious activities. So he said at least 82 people were targeted since then from NGOs and other prominent figures to collect their credentials and things of that nature, right? So, like you said, it's about having unique passwords until we get to the passwordless feature, which I know is very annoying. I think I'm starting to turn the corner on two-factor authentication, right? Because now that not all of my, I'm working on it. It's diligence, right? Because it's so many accounts, so many passwords. But now that I'm trying to make unique passwords for everything, I forget them all. And now two-factor gets me back in, right? Or multi-factor. So it really is about cutting that stuff on and then making that like suggested strong password that makes no sense that you're going to forget immediately after you put it in there. But then your saving grace is you can get back into your account because of multi-factor authentication, right? It'll send you a text, it'll send you an email with a code to get back in there. And that's just going to be the future until we get away from passwords. Because if you use the same password multiple different places, yes, it is easy for you to remember it, but it's also on a roster somewhere, and the bad guys probably have it. We have a breach every day, so you're probably wrapped up in it. Especially if you're a person of significance in this case, like these people are they're on a roster somewhere, so they need to change all their passwords. Hopefully, after they were identified, they were actually notified. That's another thing.
Well, I mean that's the hope, right? But like, and we've said on the show before, right? We're trying to minimize risk. So even if you're using the password wallets, like we've had stories on here where those have even been compromised, right? So it's never a 100% solution, right? It's the whole abstinence thing. Like unless you're off the internet altogether or you're not subscribing to anything that uses it, which is impossible in this day and age, like you have to wait for everybody to get up to the same level. You have to like for the whole passwordless future to work, you have to wait for the lowest common denominator to come up to that. And that could be like something you're not even thinking about, whether it be like something small, like if you're doing online ordering for food or something like that, right? Like you have to hope because like those are like real quick and easy. Like I've done it before and I just signed in as a guest, right? I'm not creating an account. I'm not going to remember your password. I'm not even going to put myself in that situation, right? So like it's just all right. Here's what I'm coming to pick up. Like you have to wait for that lowest one from that mom and pop store that's trying to get in the game, right? Like they're trying to be where everybody else is at, where, okay, you can order online and come pick up from us, but like they're not necessarily putting the security in there that needs to be put into that whole situation. You know what I mean? So it's a rough go of it. You gotta wait for the lowest to come up.
Right. So I guess the hope is that they'll be pushed also by these major names, right? Like Microsoft kind of pushes you that direction. Like when I set up the company email, it was like you're going to use multi-factor authentication. I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to fight you on this. I'm just going to set it up. So you hope they're doing the same thing as part of their security policy and things of that nature. But Like you said, like mom and pops don't have probably infosec policies and things of that nature. So you have
Or
to hope.
the money to be paying Microsoft to manage these things for them, right? To
Very true.
provide this service. You know what I mean? So they're going with the guy that's running it out of his garage, guy or gal, excuse me, equal opportunity, that's running it out of their garage. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I could do that for you, right? And they're not subscribing to Microsoft either. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Very true. Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. I always say we'll see what the future holds. Hopefully, that future is that the big names again. If you have uh email through, I mean, there's only so many variations. Like I'm sure there's some one-offs, but usually everybody is Office 365 or their Google or whatever Apple's doing. I forget. Never use that email anyway, and it pushes you in that direction, right? Everybody needs a gentle shove down the cybersecurity lane from here on out. So definitely continue to check us out. Again, Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask a CISSP, Fridays everything else. Action-packed week. Like we have a lot to talk about on Friday, so definitely check that out. I think I said it all, right? Hit us up by all the websites that go by our name. Hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn and pretty much every other social media platform. Or my email address is rwilliams@ramcyber.io. Stay safe. Stay secure.